I hate it when there's just a fantastic YouTube channel that goes dark for 6 months and they don't make a single video. Let's see if we can remedy that today. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Legacy Farm. There's two things that I really love to do here on the farm. The first is fencing. I love to do fence work, but the second is electrical. And so what we're trying to do is, actually not what we're trying, we are accomplishing. See that electrical panel right there? I installed that myself last year, maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. I got it all hooked up. We got our pole barn wired up, the market building, all the freezers, everything like that. And so our well, okay, which is over here, this is the pressure tank there, is hooked up to a separate panel in our house. And so whenever we would lose power from a storm, we would not have water. And so what I'm doing is hooking up our well pump so that we're able to run it on a generator in case of a power outage. Okay, so right here I just installed this. I don't have any camera work for it, but I just installed this maybe 5 weeks ago, and it's just a 50 amp generator receptacle. And so I can cut the main breaker on this panel and you know, feed all the branch circuits that way with my generator in case of a power outage. I trenched this out. This is 95 feet, okay? And so we're running 3 number 10 solid coppers. And I've got it coming up over here right to the well. This is the pressure switch here. And so what I'll do is I'll disconnect this one that comes in from the house panel, and I'll connect what I've trenched and run through this 1-inch PVC raceway here. So 3 number 10 coppers solid, and we'll disconnect this, and then we'll connect the new ones right to the switch here. And so then we'll have water during a power outage situation, which, you know, typically that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is a big deal when you have animals. So last summertime, and by the way, it's a lot being out here in the middle of July in Florida and trying to do this electrical work. I've been pounding the electrolytes like crazy just to try to keep up. So it's been like a lot of salt water, potassium, magnesium, zinc. And so no Gatorades or anything like that. I try to stay off the sugars as best I can. So it doesn't sound like a big deal, but having water for the animals is a big deal. So it was a lot of extra work last year for hurricane season. So, and then probably about 2 months ago, 3 months ago maybe, we had just like a 20-minute storm, and where it was just blowing like really hard winds, and we were without power for 25 hours. And so they got me twice, and they're not gonna get me a third time. So we're gonna have water, and we're gonna have electricity, and sometimes being out here in the country, you just gotta like do what you gotta do. And but the good news is our quality of life will go up. Every single time we put in a new piece of infrastructure, our quality of life goes up. So anyways, thank God last year we have great neighbors, and we were able to shower and have meals and stuff at their house, and so we were all kind of in it together. But I don't want to be relying on the good graces of somebody else. I want to make sure that I step up to the plate and handle my own business. And so anyways, that's why we're doing this. We're going to be able to have water, and so that's an important piece of infrastructure. This is the pear tree. The last video that I made, I told you guys that I would update you on the pear tree. I harvested all of the pears off of this tree, which there's still one small one up there that I didn't get, and then there's one here that fell on the ground. This pear tree filled up, and it's July now. I harvested all the pears off of it. I got the ladder and a basket, and I collected all the pears off of that. And I'm not sure how many pears we got, maybe like between 25 and 30 maybe. And anyways, it was a decent bit. And Leslie actually ended up making a pear and blueberry pie. So we got blueberries from a local grower here, and they hadn't been sprayed with anything, you know, toxic for you. And we got pears off of our own tree, and that combination of blueberry and pear does not sound very good, but man, Leslie did it up right, and so we had a really nice pie on 4th of July, and so that was great. No way. Too much gap. Okay, so I messed that up big time. So I just had to run to Lowe's and hit the plumbing section real quick, and I came back. I fixed it properly this time, but I didn't record it because there may or may not have been some choice words in there. So here, let me just show you what I did. This is what we got here. So I did, this is a 3/4 inch CPVC water supply line, and so I put the coupler there on the right, and I had to cut a big section out of the middle, and then I was able to do the solvent union there on the other side on the left, and I checked the water pressure. Turned it all back on, bled the system, and it's probably been dry now for about 10 minutes. So I think I'm safe, I'm good, no dripping or leaking. Okay, so here's the deal. We got the water line repaired, everything's covered back over, raked over, smoothed out, back in its original position how it was, and everything's looking good. So here's the deal. I'm not running Romex, okay? I don't know what people's obsession is with running Romex outdoors in wet locations, but that is not electrical code, okay? So that's not proper. So what I'm doing is I'm running number 10 copper solid, which is rated for 30 amps, which will run my, right now I think it's a 1 horsepower well pump. We talked about in the future maybe upgrading to 1.5 or anywhere between 1.5 and 3 horsepower well pump. Right now it's at 1, so we're rated for 30 amps. I'm using THHN wire. That is rated for outdoor wet locations, not direct burial, so I'm putting it into Schedule 40 PVC. Because I bought a 500-foot roll, I don't have the different colors of wire to identify, and what I should have done was tape them off with different color before I fish taped it and did the pull through the raceway. And so what I'm doing now is having to go back and identify which wire is which, and I will show you how I'm doing that. But if you ever have a project like this, just make sure that you're identifying which wire is which before you do your pull. And so it's a black coated THHN conductor right now, so let me show you how I do that. Okay, so I have a spool of wire here that's left over. I think I approximately have about 110 feet left in this spool. So what I've done is I've already found the first one here, and let me see if I can adjust this. I've already found the first one here and just made it as yellow. And so I've taken my spool here and I just twisted it and taped it off at the other end. Okay, and so there is a setting here on, let me see if I can get that to balance. There's a setting here on your tool, and so it's this little like sound wave looking guy. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but that is for continuity testing. And so what you can do is, since this is hooked up, I'm going to touch one lead to my spool, and then I don't know which one of these two wires here it is, but once that sound goes off, I'll know I have continuity, and that will be the wire that I'm looking for. We'll touch one end here, okay, and then I'll touch the other lead. There goes my tool. One end here. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that, but that's beeping. Okay. So that's continuity. So this is the conductor I'm looking for, and I've already put it with red tape, so I'm going to do red here so that I can identify which one I'm working with. And like I said, ideally this would have been better if it was done in the beginning, but I got a little ahead of myself. Got him.